Welcome to the Ultimate Bloons TD6 strategy series, where I'm going to be showing you strategies for every single tower from the Dart Monkey to the Beast Handler and every single path in between. This will show you how to diversify your setup and get better, along with seeing some stats, tips and tricks, and all of the strategies for every single one of the towers. And although that the series is geared more towards Chimps mode, this will also show you a lot of tips and tricks that apply to the standard game and will allow you to win with a new style. Today we have the Glue Storm, which is a very cool tower and has a lot of great uses that a lot of newer players may not see. This comes along with the Glue Strike and the Glue Hose, so let's get right into it. Starting off with the Glue Hose, this is more of a ceramic support option. You don't really see it a lot, and the Glue Strike doesn't have much use in Chimps besides saving up for the Glue Storm, which is an MIB skip, a damage debuff, and something that you'll see a lot in expert Chimps gameplay and stuff later on. So we're going to be looking at how to use that. When it comes to the Glue Hose for stopping ceramics, it actually does pretty well. It does have one caveat, so I'll talk about that later, but its stats along with the Glue Strike, it can glue a lot of balloons very fast and easily, and the Glue Strike introduces the ability. But the Glue Storm is where that ability really ramps up, and it's mostly its duration that lasts so much longer, and it's so much more effective, and it will get everything. So we're going to be seeing what that does. When it comes to the cross paths, however, everything's really easy. You get the bottom path for all of them. There's really no point in trying to get these guys to do damage because they really won't do much of any damage at all. So the bottom cross path is always better for them. And then the maps that it's good on, it's the support tower, so you're going to be getting it to support. So when it comes to the buffs, you don't really need anything to buff the tier 3 and the tier 4, and same with the Glue Storm, but you have an option of reducing its cooldown a little bit by 10% with the primary mentoring. Sometimes you might want that, sometimes it might not be worth the money and it's probably better somewhere else. Just up for you to decide whether you need that. And when it comes to glue stacking, you can use Glue Storm in combination with the Bloon Solver in both cases, and same with the Moab glue. With the glue being applied first and the Moab glue being applied first, they will both stack on top of each other, and it's also the case for the super glue and the relentless glue. So that's pretty good. I know that the glue stacking used to be like a super complicated thing, and they changed some stuff up, so it's pretty weird now. And when it comes to heroes, there technically are heroes that would get more benefit from Glue Storm over than others, but you're usually getting it to buff towers, so the hero of choice is going to be based on what tower is getting buffed. And when it comes to the objectives, we're going to be looking at the Glue Storm MIB skip, the Glue Storm damage debuff, and the Glue Hose ceramic support. So let's just take a look at this example. That crossbow cannot pop a DDT. It does not have lead detection. It does have camo, but not lead detection. However, if I get this Glue Strike, I can use the ability, and then we can take a look, and that crossbow will be able to do damage for some amount of time, and it also gets a damage buff, so it will be doing +2 damage. Now, however, if I send a bunch of DDTs and I use the ability, it's going to be able to do damage, but then you'll realize quickly it cannot because it wore out. It's simple to say that the Glue Strike kind of has the same benefits of Glue Storm, but they don't really last a long time at all. So it might be usable for like round 100 specifically, but other than that, not a whole lot of use. Glue Storm, on the other hand, it's going to last forever. It can actually cover the entirety of 95. So while the Glue Strike could only get like the first few DDTs, the Glue Storm can get all of them, and it reapplies to like the ceramics and stuff. So I can send ceramics, keep sending ceramics, and all these ceramics are going to be getting glued. However, if I were to do that with the Glue Strike, which I will demonstrate right now, you're going to notice that the ceramics that come out aren't going to get reapplied when more come out, or if I pop the layer of one of the ceramics, then the balloons inside aren't going to get glued after a certain amount of time, whereas the Glue Storm would just constantly be reapplying it. So now let's take a look at the MIB skip. So using just the same principles from before, we can use this tower to turn a setup that isn't able to pop DDTs into a setup that is able to pop DDTs while giving it a benefit of +2 damage, plus the ability to slow down ceramics pretty well with the glue storm. So here I have a lovely example of Pat's Pond Chimps where I have an Avatar Wrath setup and I bought MIB, but for some reason, I don't know why, I bought the Avatar Wrath on the one druid that could not get MIB status. So there's like one druid in the middle, like right there that gets MIB. I'm like, okay, I'll get Avatar Wrath on that. This was actually supposed to be an example for another wheel video, and I got Avatar Wrath on the wrong one, but we can still salvage this with the power of Glue Storm. So as you can see, DDTs will go straight through, and I had to like use my tree ability to clear that out. But in the next turn on round 95, I'm then going to bring the Glue Storm into play, which would allow the Avatar Wrath that doesn't have the ability to pop leads, then the ability to pop leads. Now, in a typical game where you actually plan things out well and don't screw up which druid you upgrade to Avatar Wrath, you would have the Glue Storm like going with you into the 90s, and then you'd be able to use its ability around there. But in this case, I guess it's more of a salvage per se here on round 95 that's coming up here, where as before I would just die to the DTs. We're going to be putting the Glue Storm in the setup to be able to do it. So it's probably not like the most realistic way how you would see it. I do have an example where I do fully intend from the start to get Glue Storm, but as you can see here, just not even close. So we're going to do a very simple thing, get Glue Storm in. One thing to note is that you can use its placement to be able to slow down ceramics. You'll see glue hose slowing down ceramics, so you can, I guess, just take advantage of that same principle and slow down ceramics a bit in range. So I'm going to put it right there instead of in discount, because I want the ability to be able to do that. Anyways, when these DDTs come in, I can use the ability, and the ability is going to stay up for the entirety of 95. On some longer maps, if you use it a little bit earlier, it can miss the last DDTs, so I recommend just like giving it some time, wait for the DDTs to come in range. Maybe you can like use that in conjunction with like your Moab glue to slow them down a bit, and then they'll come in range, build up, and then you can use the ability, and it will last guaranteed the entire way through. So on top of the MIB skip, you also have the ability to do the +2 damage. That doesn't really have much effect in this setup because Avatar Wrath does 30 damage, I think, cap. I'm not sure if it's like 30 or 31 based on some extra bonus thing, but anyways, it does a lot of damage, so that +2 damage isn't going to be a whole lot. So you could either use it for the damage debuff, the MIB skip, or both, which we'll see a bit later too. In this case, I'm using it just for the MIB skip, which might seem a little bit odd, and I guess it is because I'm more like fixing this, but this would happen when you really can't get MIB for, I guess, a few reasons, although it would be more common to be able to have your MIB skip being able to give you a bonus, because that's, I guess, the whole idea, that you can not buy MIB and then like maybe spend a little bit more money, but you would have multiple bonuses that would give you much more strength to your setup than just having the ability to hit the lead balloons. Anyways, that was pretty much the example of how you can use it to be able to hit the DDTs. It's not really too complicated. You just use the ability, and I got a nice insta-monkey there when the DDTs come out. Sometimes you might have to wait a little bit for round 95 to make sure you get everything, but other than that, you just use the ability and then your towers can hit DDTs. You just need to make sure that they'll be able to hit blacks. Anyways, for the glue hose, this is also very simple. You can just throw a glue hose into your setup in the mid game to be able to slow down some ceramics. You can set it on strong, so it will guarantee it hits the ceramics. Sometimes this might be a little bit more reliable than other times. It kind of just depends on what towers you're using, but it definitely has multiple uses with the mid game, and it can help out in the late game, slowing down the super ceramics. In any ways, it just has a lot of attack speed and can cover a lot of ceramics. So whenever these Moabs are coming through, the glue slows them, and then they're going a lot slower. They're not going anywhere. It may not look like in this example that it's really doing a whole lot, but being able to slow them down, make sure that the ceramics don't go through, and then your towers aren't trailing trying to catch the ceramics, and that really makes sure that the balloons, the big Moabs are out of the way, being dealt with on themselves. So it can have a lot more benefit than it may look. Anyways, let's go on to the next example. And in this example, we're going to be using the glue storm to allow a bunch of boats to hit lead balloons, so for the MIB skip, and on top of that we're also going to be getting a good advantage of the +2 damage. So we're going to be having all of that. So for the strategy, it's pretty simple for the most part. You just get Brickle, Destroyer up, and Reactor. It's probably better to get Reactor first because it's cheaper, and then you'll have enough money for Destroyer before round 40 anyways. Use the level 3 ability on round 40, not the other way around. You'll take that Moab out just fine, then you can build Alex villages and all that stuff, and then you'll get a bunch of Destroyers. They might be spread around, so this also, I guess I didn't mention this, but would be a great advantage of using Glue Storm over even other MIB skips and MIB itself. Sometimes you have a defense that's just very spread out, whether it's a modular build or just there's a lot of towers and it's one MIB can't cover it, one embrittlement won't be able to cover everything too. So just having Glue Storm, it would be global coverage, lasts forever, and you'll get all the benefits too with that. So it could apply to this because perhaps one MIB wouldn't cover all of the destroyers that you would typically want in this setup. So we're going to be doing a lot with that. And then on top of that, at some point, I'm also just going to get one of my destroyers up to Carrier Flagship. That will also give us a attack speed bonus. And Carrier Flagship is also very strong, even with Glue Storm too. And then when it comes to buying the Glue Storm, typically I get it somewhere before round 85. Getting it into the 80s, early 80s would be good. A lot of times you'll be able to beat those rounds up fairly well with whatever strategy you have. And when it comes to like towers that it's good with, because it's a damage debuff, it's really just going to be lots of projectiles, low damage, high pierce, usually 2 of those 3 combinations, and you'll get a really strong strategy with that. So that could be like these destroyers, tax, super monkeys. It's going to work out really well, kind of just like the same things that I talked about with the super brittle, if you saw the super brittle episode. So got that Glue Storm up, got it before around 85 there, which is pretty nice. You saw me use it a little bit. You can also use the Glue Strike and the power of the Glue Host to slow ceramics earlier than that too. You're going to be getting the Glue Storm, might as well use those guys too. So we have that, and you can see when some tougher rounds come in, I can just use the Glue Storm and take that out. Now a big thing that I'm going to look here is the ability timing. You need to make sure that you have Glue Storm up when you need Glue Storm, or else you're going to die. So I have the level 3 ability and the Glue Storm ability that will allow these guys to hit leads. Typically if you don't have a water-based strategy, you won't be using Brickle, and you can't rely on that level 3. So I'm just using that to deal more damage. And then when these DDTs come out, like right here, I make sure I have that Glue Storm ability, and we use that, and we're doing very well. Now I mentioned this because at the end of this, when I was recording it, it was like very late at night, wasn't really paying attention, and I didn't get Glue Storm back. So that's one thing that I guess you'll see as an example of what happens when you miss your ability timing. So you need to make sure that your ability timing is on key. Anyways, I used my Glue Storm way too early on round 98 there. That ability timing wasn't that great, and if you do that, then you won't have Glue Storm up and you're kind of just screwed. Luckily, I was able to fix it with just one snowstorm, but you want to make sure that your Glue Storm ability is up at key rounds to be able to actually win, particularly the DDT rounds. But that's going to be it. Just keep that stuff in mind and you'll have a lot of fun with it. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye.